Hey up, we're finally out of the noughties, thank God for that. But now we're taking a look at what appears to be, anyway, some 90s trash. We're looking at Psycho Sisters. This is a 1998 horror film directed by Pete Jacelone, Sal Longo and Gary Whitson. You know, remembering names is hard. 3 directors. Never a good start really with anything, is it? 3 directors. And I can kind of just sum them all up in one go, really. They've all made a living making low-budget schlock that's badly rated on IMDb. Like a lot of the people we've covered recently, I guess. It looks like Pete and Gary are still active today. Fair enough. The film stars JJ North in her last role, and then we also get Teresa Lynn. She's got something to do with Howard Stern. Again, his name's popping up. He seems to be popping up quite a bit in these. I don't really know much about that. And apparently she also played a stripper in The Sopranos. Outside of that, there's a few actors with long IMDb credit lists, but it's just a load of bit parts in a load of low-budget horror films. More shit that looks like this, to be honest. I don't really know what to expect with this one. I'm glad that we're out of the noughties, but looking at this cover, it looks trashy as anything. And maybe it'll share some similar sentiments to some of the millenitrash films we've covered. Hopefully not too badly though. Let's take a look.
Holy sweet bejesus.
You guys are disgusting. Stop.
Sam,
What's my full name, Peter?
What do you think we're gonna do to you? We're gonna kill you, you stupid asshole.
The plot follows 2 sisters, Jackie and Jane, who, after witnessing their 3rd sister violated and killed, go insane and get put in an asylum. Years later, they're set free and decide to take revenge on anything with a penis. But they slowly draw the attention of the cops and a local biker gang, who are now on the lookout for the crazed killers. But Jackie might not feel the same way about men as Jane does, and a little fling with a sperm donor receptionist might just tear the sisters apart. Honestly, this wasn't too bad. It keeps its pace up. There's plenty happening. It's not a perfect film and the pace does dip here and there. Compared to some of the shit we've watched recently though, this is actually fun and okay. There's plenty of characters to get invested in, loads happening. It may be a little overly long, it's 96 minutes, a trim here and there, and I think you've got a solid like 85 to 90 minute film.
spot me, you fart knocker.
Now the acting isn't great, but it's far better than most of the stuff we've seen recently. And there's some fun characters about in this, you know. Most of them are a bit stupid, but there's plenty of them, so it makes everything feel more varied. Like you'll be jumping to the biker gang for a little bit, and then to the doctor of the insane asylum, and then the two sisters, and then the neighbours, and it's fun. It feels like there's a lot going on, and some of the acting works alright. Like the sisters are pretty fun, and yeah, it works. It's low budget, but it works, and you're going to be hearing that sort of sentiment quite a lot, to be honest. The gore, we actually get some gore, and it's good. It's okay. It's not the best thing I've ever seen in the world, but it's actually quite inventive and over the top and fun. It feels like they were having a good time doing it. It's what you want from this sort of thing. It's cheap, sure, a little rough around the edges, sure, but it feels there. It's there, you can see it. Some of the bigger set pieces for the gore is great, like the BDSM woman who's being ripped apart. It's really good. Looks like an accident in a butcher's shop with a bit of latex thrown in. It's what you want from this sort of film, and it delivers, and that's the important thing that we haven't seen for ages. It actually delivers on something, which is nice. It's not the most competently put together, some lazy camera angles, jarring editing that I think is trying to be creative, but it just sort of comes across as a bit, I don't know, a bit wrong more than anything, I guess. Like they did something wrong by accident. The music, sometimes it works, sometimes it really doesn't, and it just don't fit with the scene. Yeah, it's a little slapped together, but it's not the worst thing we've ever watched. It does have a millenitrash, like a pre-millenitrash sort of vibe to it. It's definitely not millenitrash, definitely not, but it has that sort of early workings vibe. And what I really liked about this one is it has that sort of DIY attitude to it, where it doesn't feel lazy like some millenitrash films do. It feels more like we're working the best we can with what we can afford and what we've got to hand. And you know what? Even if it doesn't always work, that is way more commendable than stick a camera on it, film it, and put it out there. Fuck it. This actually feels like some thought and some passion and some time went into it. And yeah, fun time.
Outside your door, on a doctor's word, you're out, and now you're keeping score.
Oh, this chick's giving me a boner with a capital O.
Weirdly, this film is actually a remake of a 1994 film of the same name, made by the exact same production team. They must have not been happy with it or something, but it's weird that it was remade so close to the original coming out. The only instance I can really think of with that happening is Haneke's Funny Games, but he did that for a language change, so it makes a little bit more sense than this. So I know they really must have not liked it. There are a few sequels as well. There's Return of Psycho Sisters from 2015, I think. Cult of Psycho Sisters from 2017. And Psycho Sisters Return? Is it Return or is it Revenge? Let me double check that. Possessed. I was completely wrong. Psycho Sisters Possessed from 2019. All directed by a fella called Roland Brown. They look absolutely terrible. I don't know though. If you know, let me know. And if you've seen the original from '94 as well, let me know how that is as well. I'd be curious to see if it's any good, if it deserved being remade. But yeah, those sequels look very, very, very rough, I'd say, yeah. But we're not over with this disc just yet either. We have a short film directed by Pete Jacelone. I think his name's Jacelone. I feel like I'm saying it. It feels like I'm saying it wrong, but I don't know. Pete Jacelone. So let's see what this short film's all about, shall we?
Oh, shit!
Oh, Gary Coleman abducted by UFO.
We got pictures.
Yeah, right.
The Lost Child is a 1991 10-minute short film directed by Pete Jacelone. And apparently it's based off of the short story called The Outsider by H P Lovecraft. I'm not familiar with that story, but I'm guessing it's better than this film is. This film is first-person perspective. A child wakes up in the woods and is lost, stumbles about a bit through the woods, ends up at a house, crashes a Tupperware party, scares the shit out of some women because it turns out he was a monster all along. The end. Really, really boring. Really, really boring. Just low quality shots of the woods from first person, bombing about. Weird music choices. There's a song in it and it kind of reminds me of Lemmy Winks from South Park. It's that sort of weird level. Didn't mind the monster though. Rubber suit, looked daft, made me laugh. So this film is in the middle of a featurette. It's about a 25-minute featurette, 10 minutes of which is this film. And it's bookended. It starts with an interview with Jacelone, where we learn that as well as a director, he's also a musician and a chiropractor. Then we get the short film, then we get a little bit of like the making of the short film, and then it just ends on, I'm guessing it's Jacqueline's band, just playing a song, an entire song for ages live. Fair enough, I guess.
Mom, are you there? Are you there?
It seems the child has lost his way.
Okay, let's have a look at this print then. It's honestly not the worst. The bad is that it's in 4x3 and quite desaturated. The good is that it's relatively glitch free, doesn't really have any issues or anything like that. It's quite an easy, smooth watch. The audio's fine as well, it peaks once or twice, but outside of that, completely watchable. Fine, not bad at all. On the disc, we get the usuals, we get chapter select, we get trailers for this, and we get Hard Gore trailers, but we also get the featurette that I mentioned earlier with the short film in it. We get a behind the scenes featurette, looks like they had fun. We get like a 12-minute discussion with Jacelone about Psycho Sisters. Turns out initially it was a 20-minute short, and they've made it into a feature in '94, and he admits that he wasn't happy with it, not enough horror in it, so they remade it in '98. I think those dates are a little off there when they came out. I think he said that he started shooting it in '96, so bit of a time to come out, I guess. And lastly, we get 11 minutes of deleted scenes for those who thought 96 minutes wasn't long enough, which it definitely is. Not bad, honestly. Plenty of stuff on the disc, probably the most we've seen in quite a while, really. Nice to see. Okay then, time for the case. I mean, it's fine, I guess. The runtime is 10 minutes out though, which is pretty bad. We've not had something that bad in a while. 10 minutes is quite a lot. The blurb reads okay, really. It just all looks very cheap, and the screenshots aren't helping with that. The front is much of the same. Pretty bad, really. Badly pixelated. Look at this image here. It's really badly pixelated. And then this quote on the front, it's not an opinion, it's just a matter-of-fact statement. It's kind of scathing in a way, really. It's like you can't give a bad reference, so you just say that the person worked here. I don't know, it's not that bad though, this. Yeah, not great really. Lastly, there is another Poundland leaflet inside this one. Overall then, it's far from perfect, you know, it's cheap, rough around the edges, it's a little too long for its own good and the pacing can be a little up and down. But for the most part, there's plenty of fun characters, some decent gore, and a real DIY charm that sort of elevates it, I'd say, above some of the other dreck we've had to sit through recently. I'd say this gets a light recommendation, to be honest. If there's something you've seen in this review that's piqued your interest, you'll probably get something from this. It's not going to be for everyone, and for a chunk of it, it weren't really for me either, but it's got something going for it. It's far from the worst, far from the worst. If you are in the market, this version isn't actually too bad. The print's fine and there's plenty of special features. There's also a Shriek collection version as usual, which is probably the same stuff, whichever one you can find cheapest, I guess. And there is a import Blu-ray listed on Amazon, but I think that that's for the 94 version, so don't get fooled or tricked by that one, unless you want the 94 version, in which case it looks like there's a Blu-ray available on Amazon. Not too bad. So yeah, it's not amazing, but it's, you know, God, it's better than what we've watched recently, isn't it? And it's only going to get better next week. We are actually going to be reviewing and taking a look at a film, like an actual film with a fan base, a film that's cited not only as a good film, but as a masterpiece, as a film that kick-started a genre and is important in film history, a film that Criterion have re-released. Thank fuck for this, eh? Finally, we're going to talk about something good, something that I've seen a few times and really like, and I'm sure a lot of you watching are a big fan of in some way. Next episode, we're going to be checking out Night of the Living Dead.